Be more than human.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is J.R. Carroll. I am the author of the More Than Human novels, and today we are going to talk about the biggest 13 book releases for 2024. Now, a little ground rules here. These are books that I am at least interested in and will probably try to get to next year. Some of these I am going to be on them day one. Some of them I'm actually going to try and see if I can get early access to. But others are multiple books down the line in a series, and maybe they're a series that I'm interested in, so I will try to get to them. And I will also kind of tell you which ones are really priorities and other ones I'm just kind of interested in. But these are, some of them are outside of my normal wheelhouse a little bit, which I am trying to kind of expand. As you've seen, if you've followed the channel, you've seen towards the end of the year I've started to kind of go into other types of books that I normally don't read, like romance and stuff like that, and that will show up here again in this list here. But first and foremost, a release that I'm excited about that's probably going to happen in, maybe April, maybe May, is my fourth book, which is titled More Than Legends, and it is a culmination of 9 different characters getting their own short stories. So look out for that a little bit later in the year. But let's jump into the books that I am going to read. And the first on the list here, and I'm kind of going in order that they come out, is Ali Hazelwood's Bride. Now, don't know anything about her. I just happened to see the cover, and the cover looked pretty interesting. I'll throw it up here on the screen. Only thing as I kind of got interested in this, so then I did look. She is known as a big time romance author, apparently. Like I said, I'm not huge into the romance circles, so I didn't know, but apparently she's really big on that. And this is her kind of stepping into like supernatural fantasy stuff. But this is like a vampire queen or princess or something has to try to strike a deal with the werewolf clan of sorts. So you're going to have some paranormal romance, but the cover looked very interesting, and I love vampires, obviously. So I'm going to take a look at this, and this one comes out February 6th. So early in February. Vampire werewolf romance. We'll see how that goes. And then the second one on the list is a must read, and this is the final book in the Empire of the Wolf, and that is Richard Swan's Trials of Empire. And I've already read the first two. Tyranny. Just read Tyranny of Faith. And this is a really, really good book series so far. I am so pumped about this. I'm gonna reach out and see if I can get Richard on. I feel like after this trilogy, I kind of compared him and saying that I think he's the next Joe Abercrombie. I really do. I think his books are that good, and we'll see how he finishes this trilogy and how they go on into the future. But it's a definite first day read for me. And then we have Danielle L. Jensen's A Fate Inked in Blood. The cover looked amazing. The title is good. It is Norse fantasy with some romance up in there. So again, she's another very popular author. Mostly does kind of romance stuff. But I love anything Norse, and apparently she's really popular. So we'll see. And this is a new book in a new series. So I'll be able to jump right in and not have to run through. I don't know if her other series has like 4 books in it, but we'll see. Norse fantasy romance. And then a next big one, and that one comes out February 27th. And then the next big one is Jay Kristoff's second installment, Empire of the Damned after Empire of the Vampire. This one comes out March 12th. And it seems like a lot of people were split on Empire of the Vampire. Either it's the greatest thing since sliced bread or it's so horrible. I hate to say I fall in the middle, but I would actually say it was the concept and everything was interesting enough for me to want to read the second book, but I 100% see why people didn't like it who didn't. The dude, like, I don't think there's a single paragraph in the entire book that doesn't have the F word in it. Not that I'm against the F word, or any cussing or cursing, what the fuck ever, but I just think sometimes it can be overdone. And then we have the second book in Holly Black's newest series, and this one is the Prisoner of Throne, Prisoner of the Throne, of Thorns. What the heck am I talking about? But that's March 5th, and the first book was Stolen Air, and I wanted to read that last year, but I just got caught up in so many other series, and I've heard Holly Black is great. And Stolen Air was a big hit for her last year, and like I said, I wanted to jump on it right when it came out, but I didn't have the time, so I'll probably knock that out. And it's not neither of these books are very long. I think they're like 400 pages, so I'll hit Stolen Air early in the year, and then I'll roll that right into the next book. And then a big one, which is a priority for me, is I've never read any Peter V. Brett, but the second book, The Hidden Queen, comes out March 5th, and it's in the world of the demon cycle, but they say that you can kind of jump into this and be okay. And so I'm gonna try to read that, another one of those. Read the first book early in the year, and then I'll jump on that. But yeah, I've been telling, people have been saying, oh, get into Peter V. Brett. So this is where I'm probably going to jump into it at. And then a definite, must read for me is Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. And that comes out April 9th. And there is a ton of stuff coming out in April. And this is, I was... I found out about Leigh Bardugo through Ninth House and then Hellbent, which is kind of dark academia / urban fantasy. I've still never read any of her Shadow of Bones or Six of Crows or any of that. So I think what I've read is a little bit more adult oriented. I've heard some of her other stuff is a little bit YA, but stuff I've read has been more adult centered, and I believe that's kind of where this is going. And it's about this girl who works for this rich lady, and she can do some types of magic, but she kind of tries to keep it hidden. And then when her the master or mistress or whatever finds out, she's like, well, you need to use your magic to help us get political clout. So that's and it's not a very long book. I think it's just over 400 pages. So, I love it. Give me more short books. But Leigh Bardugo, that'll be a first day read for me. And then we have Mark Lawrence's The Book That Broke the World, also April 9th. That's book 2 after The Book That Wouldn't Burn. The Book That Wouldn't Burn was on my list of most disappointing books of the year because I expected it to be one of the best books ever, because everybody that's told me about Mark Lawrence thinks that he's top tier, and I loved the concept of The Book That Wouldn't Burn, but it just didn't hit for me. So this, like I said, I'll probably be reading The Familiar before I get to this, but I will read this, and we'll give it a chance. It was good enough that I'm willing to give it another chance. And then we have R.A. Salvador, the Pinquickles Folly. It's kind of pirate, pirate fantasy. And it is in the new Demon War saga. I think it takes place in his world that he's created, but it says in the thing that this is a good starting point for people. Like, you can start here and then move on to other stuff. The only Aria Salvatore I've read is Homeland, and I wasn't very impressed by it because I felt it was very kind of generic fantasy, but it was written a long time ago, so, who knows. But I haven't read a lot of pirate fantasy stuff, so this may be something that I can get into it. Not because I felt like his writing was good, it's just the story I didn't hit for me. But that one comes out April 16th, as you'll see a lot of April on here. And then we have Christopher Ruocchio, the Disquiet God, book 6 in the Sun Eater series. The Sun Eater blew up last year on BookTube. I don't think I will be. It's April. I think it is April 12th, or so I don't think I'm going to be able to get. And these books are big too, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get all the way through. I may try and do a whole. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to Lightbringer, and I ran through it. So maybe I'll do Sun Eater in January, the first book, and if I really like it, maybe I'll just power through and catch up before it comes out. But I have a feeling that every single booktuber is going to be doing this book. And then I'm going to spell this. I have no idea how to say this name, but I'm just going to go, it's like Xiran J something. I'm sorry not knowing this name. I think this is a Chinese name. But the Heavenly Tyrant is a book 2 in the Iron Widow series. And apparently this is it is a Pacific Rim meets Handmaid's Tale, and it's a Chinese inspired fantasy series. Pacific Rim, awesome. Handmaid's Tale, good story. And it was really popular, so I think I can knock the first book out, and if I like it, then I can jump into this book. But yeah, that just really intrigued me, and I liked the cover. And that is April 30th. That's the end of April there. And then our 12th book we have is James S.A. Corey coming out of his major book series, Mercy of Gods, and that is August 6th. I've never read any of James S.A. Corey, so this is a new series, space opera. I'm loving me some space. I'm into several space operas now, so this will be another space opera. And I am always down for a space opera. And then the 13th and the final one is T.J. Klune, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is a sequel to the mega hit House in the Cerulean Sea. And this, they say it's like a mix between, 1984 and the Umbrella Academy, which I'm like, that sounds like a sweet mashup, right? So this doesn't come out until, I believe, September. So no worries there for me. I'll definitely read The House in the Cerulean Sea, and then I'll get to that. Let me know, are any of these 13 books on your list? There are going to be so many books. I am almost guaranteed that Will White will have 1, if not 2 books out this year. We are still looking at maybe catching 12 months from the next Dresden Files coming out, maybe by Christmas time. That would be amazing. Could be probably will be another Expeditionary Force coming out from Craig Allenson probably towards the end of the year. And like I said, I will have More Than Legends will be coming out April, May. And you might get book 5, which I can't say anything about yet. Only thing I can say is it is going to be the most epic book I've ever written. And that will be, if I get lucky, it'll be at the end of 2024. So maybe 2 books this year for me. Let me know, what are you reading in this? Like, what's the most exciting books coming out for you in this coming year? And more importantly, be more than human.